welcome to the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. I'm your host, John Chen. And hey, if you're watching here on social media, do us a favor, subscribe, share, like, or comment. If you ask a comment live on the show, I might actually ask it to our amazing guest. If you want all the episodes, and by the way, we are just crossed over 6,000 downloads, so you got to get to it. And I just want to give a shout out to my very, very, very good friend who just retired, Corbin Ball. Corbin, your podcast episode is currently the #1 podcast. You can see them all at engagingvirtualmeetings.online. See every episode and subscribe. Get a new episode every Wednesday. And if you want to learn more about how to be engaging like what I do and what all my amazing guests do, come to the Engaging Retreat here in Seattle and hybrid anywhere you can click a link. You can scan here for a free ticket, or you can come live here October 20 through 22nd. We'll have over 15 of the top engaging speakers in the world in one of the most advanced hybrid studios you have ever seen. Now, what else is happening here? I'm just back home. I got to tell you, I'm so happy to be home. You know, one of the top things that I love about, I just came off a 27-day road trip. For those who didn't hear, right, it was in this order: San Antonio, Boston, LA, yeah, Los Angeles, Amelia Island, Cleveland, and back here to Seattle. 6-city tour. Well, here's one of the highlights too for all my pickleball fans, right? I did not know how to play pickleball. Visit Seattle taught me how at Meeting Professionals International's World Education Congress tournament. And then at Georgia Healthcare's Association tournament, I was the host and I won a medal. Rebecca P. Murray was like, "What's your ranking? What's your level, Mr. Chen?" And I'm like, I don't have one. All I can tell you is that I won a pickleball medal. So, meanwhile, let's get back onto the podcast. And I got an amazing guest here today. She's the founder of Soaring to Source. She's the creator of a 3-brain alignment framework. She's board certified holistic health practitioner and the international best-selling author of the Quantum Blueprint. Make sure and pick that up. After decades in corporate leadership, she followed a deeper calling to help women reconnect with the wisdom of their gut, heart, and mind. And through holistic health, emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and equine, that's horses for you people, equine-assisted experiences, she helps women move from stress to overwhelm in greater alignment, purpose, and fulfillment. And one time she was angry at her husband and she tried to be with her horses to feel better. And the horse decided to cool her off by bumping her right into the water trough. Let's welcome Antoinette Engelke. Antoinette, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I am doing wonderful. And how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And what is the personality of the horse that bumped you off? I'm sure you might know a little something about that horse's personality.
Oh, absolutely. He was an absolute gem. His name was Danny Boy. He
Oh,
was I know, he was a half quarter horse, half draft. So he was a big boy.
hmm.
He was the sweetest horse you'd ever meet. And that's what shocked me is how he was like, "I don't want your energy around me." And you need to cool off. But I mean, he would like put his head behind you and hug you. He would pull you in and hug you. I mean,
Oh,
he was just the sweetest boy. So,
oh.
and I'll never forget when my oldest daughter, she decided to let him into the house. And and I'm upstairs doing something and I hear this clunk, clunk, clunk downstairs. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And I walk downstairs and there's my Danny Boy in the kitchen.
You better have a house, I think, with high ceilings if you're going to have a horse like that in your house, right?
I know. Yes, we did.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's do me a favor. A few of my friends don't know you, right? So Antoinette, just take this moment to introduce who you are and what you do in the world.
That sounds amazing. So my name is Antoinette Engelke. I am the founder of Soaring to Source, and like John said, the creator of 3-brain alignment. I was in corporate America for over 25 years, and around 20 years of that, I was in senior leadership. I led teams up to 145 people worldwide. My team was responsible for flight plans. I understand stress, and I understand it very well. I also understand how to conduct meetings both virtually and in person. I did that a lot when I was in corporate America, and I do that a lot now as a speaker. I became very passionate about holistic health when my daughter, who is now 30 years old, when she became very ill. as a baby, as an infant, took her to the doctor on lots of pharmaceuticals, took her off those pharmaceuticals. And because I went to a naturopathic doctor, the naturopathic doctor changed our life around. A year ago, when I was moving from Colorado to Georgia, I found my log, the log of the book that I was keeping of all of her pharmaceuticals. And I saw that one of the pharmaceuticals was actually taken off the market for killing infants. If it
Whoa.
wasn't for that amazing doctor, I would probably would have lost my daughter and not have my two beautiful grandchildren that I have. So I'm so excited that to be here. And that's why I have a passion in holistic health, went back to school and did receive my bachelor's degree in holistic health.
Well, I have a girlfriend that works at Pfizer. My grandparents actually founded the research divisions of Eli Lilly. So, pharmaceuticals is a big thing, but of course, it sounds like you have the reason to be so passionate around it. What was something that you discovered or changed that really helped your daughter? Your daughter, right?
Yes, my daughter, Amanda. So what helped her was homeopathics, herbs, but that also taught me massaging techniques to help move the food. She had a lot of digestive issues because she was born early.
Mm.
And so it was a combination of several things that we had done. We took her off of the soy formula. And so we did some nutritional changes as well, but it was mainly, I think, the herbs, the homeopathics, and the massaging techniques that I was taught to help her out.
Well, Seattle has some of the top holistic, instructional institutions, and also one of our good friends owns something called the Tummy Temple. Have you heard of this place?
I have not.
Oh,
No.
I think you would like to meet them, and because they are
Good.
using some of the most advanced techniques, especially around that gut health and other parts. I'm just curious, out of your all your different pieces of education, what do you feel was the most transformational piece of education that you got along the way?
The most formative piece of that I received was going to Quantum University,
Quantum,
and
yeah.
because yes, that's where I received my holistic health degree. And it was absolutely amazing because this is where I actually learned how to align the nervous system. This is what I where I learned the three brains and how important they are, how they're connected. And I really found out what the true problem was behind stress that I was not able to work with until I learned from Quantum University.
Yeah, well, tell us a little more then about your book. I'm assuming your book was based a little bit on your experience there, since it has the word quantum in it.
Yes, it is. It is. It's around my framework. It is around the three brains. So part one goes into the gut and explains the gut, the microbiome, and why it needs to be balanced. Part two is all about the heart and emotional intelligence, how to process emotions, and the third part is about the brain. Fourth part is where I start talking about more about quantum. I do talk a little bit about through it, but I talk a little bit more about quantum physics and how it relates to the biology. And I start talking a little bit about the nervous system regulation in that point and how we as individuals actually have the ability to help other people become coherent. And I think this is a really important thing when it comes to meetings, is that when the facilitator is in a coherent present moment, you can actually have the ability to bring other people into that space. And it's the same thing if you're in person. So
We'll talk more about that. So I do a lot of facilitation. I have over 38 years of team building experience, and facilitation is a science and an art to me. And I'm curious about either what research or what experience that you have about the ability for a facilitator to bring other people in or to make them feel safe.
absolutely. I love that question because I learned a lot at Boeing when I don't think I mentioned that was the main company I worked for, but um, I did learn a lot there when it came to running the teams.
Yeah.
I learned about there's so many different people and not everybody is the same. Some people are going to come in and they're going to be, they're going to have stress from something that's going on the outside of them. They're going to be an introvert, or somebody else is going to be an extrovert. Someone's going to want to get involved. So I agree with you. The facilitation, it's not just about one size fits all. It's about being able to pull certain people in at certain times when it's appropriate within a speech that you're doing, so that everyone feels welcome. And that is a huge skill to learn.
And how do you learn that? I mean, it sounds simple, but I know for me, you can get taught techniques, but for me, there's no replacement for the experience of attempting to facilitate a group and quite honestly, failing horribly sometimes, and other times like creating magic. Here, I'll share an example. What was it? It was last week. I got a chance to run a open house. It was an employee appreciation day for 700 virtual people, and I ran a fashion contest, right? Because everyone was dressed up in Western gear. And then I reminded myself somewhere along the line before I wanted and did the final quote unquote judging. Everyone could vote by chat. That I said, oh, I want to learn something about each of these people. And as soon as I did that, the first person came in there and she goes, oh, what you didn't know about me is I know how to play fiddle. So she picks up a fiddle she had, starts playing fiddle in a rodeo country style. She has all of her virtual settings too, by the way, set perfectly. And all the other people acquiesce and just say, well, you just won. And what I'm saying is it was a piece of magic that happened that was not planned, but as a facilitator, right, created the container for that moment to happen.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I agree with that. It is something that you need to keep trying and practicing and seeing what's work and what doesn't work, what's going to fail, and it's hard when something fails on you.
Yeah.
I didn't lead teams at Boeing, and I wasn't successful at every single meeting. Sometimes I wouldn't come in presence in my most coherent place, because I really didn't know everything I know today. So, but yes.
So you spent time at Boeing here in Denver and Phoenix, not here in Seattle or St. Louis, right?
Right. I started at the Boeing Mesa facility. Oh my gosh, that was the time of my life. I absolutely loved working for our military,
Yes.
and we would have the military come in and tell us how the Apache saved their lives and brought them home to their family, and that
Wow.
would just brought chills back to me every time I'd hear these stories of what was happening out there in the real world. My team there, what they did in IT was they were responsible for all of the engineers' systems. That was a lot of fun. Boeing decided to move me to Denver. Well, they promoted me to move me to Denver. I was honored by getting the very first program management best practice certification from Boeing in IT. And because I
Wow.
had that, they had a failure that was going on in Denver with a flight planning system that they were working out with American Airlines.
Hmm.
American Airlines contacted Boeing and said, you guys need to help Jeppesen. So they said, Antoinette, we need you over here in Denver. And I'm like, oh, heck no. They sweetened the pot enough for me to go ahead and move my family. We moved to Denver, absolutely loved it. Loved the program, loved the team. I ended up running the department for a while there, and
Wow.
just had another blast. That was the flight planning department, and lots of stress, lots of because we had souls in our hands. You know what I mean? We were
Yeah.
responsible for getting planes from point A to point B safely.
So I just recently got to go on a tour. I led a group of people that was visiting to the Museum of Flight with one of my good friends, Janet Livingstone, who helps sell Boeing airplanes to Chinese airlines. And do you know, this is a little known fact, you may not know this, but do you know who was the first aeronautical engineer that Boeing hired?
Wow, I do not know that.
Let's see if I can get this done right. Hold on a sec. I think it's this one. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah. It was Wong Su. And so, Boeing's first aeronautical engineer was Chinese, and actually, Boeing is actually built on a whole series of Asian Pacific Islander engineers. And so, I do a lot of advocacy work for Asian Pacific Islanders, and this was actually a piece that, again, I didn't even know myself, and then so I thought that was something cool that we did and found out about that. She also taught us something else too. Do you know the Boeing 787, right? The Dreamliner. Actually pressurizes the cabin to 6,000 feet, while a 737 pressurizes only to 8,000 feet. And one, she said the engineering that went to make that happen was enormous. But she says the number two fact is that you might feel better after a cross country flight to Italy than you would in a flight to the United States, because that's how much effect that 2,000 feet has on us, on our body, our human bodies. Isn't that cool?
That is so cool. I had no idea. I mean, I knew the 787 was amazing. I was there when I was in Seattle when it was unveiled.
Unveiled. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Woo. Yes. Oh, wow.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your time at Boeing, and of course, a big part of here of Seattle is Boeing, Costco,
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft, our Amazon friends, and a few others. All right. So we talked about virtual meetings. So what? Take us back to March of 2020. Where were you, and what happened?
Mar- March of 2020. Oh my goodness. All right. So my husband owned an event center and he owned a portable bartending company. We were living with our oldest daughter and her husband. And obviously, March of 2020, March 16th is my daughter's birthday, and it
Hmm.
shut down on March 16th.
Whoa! Oh, like was that before or after her birthday? Or like just happened sequential?
On her birthday is when the official shutdown happened. From when I mean, that's what we keep saying is March 16th. So maybe we can look up a little stat there, see if we're right. But so anyhow, he owned an event venue and a portable bartending company. They were both shut down hard. And at first I was like, oh, cool, 2 weeks off, I can rest. And then obviously it turned into a lot longer than that. And it really did a lot of damage to that industry. People
Yeah.
never really came back and bounced back, but
Hard. Yeah.
as far as parties were concerned.
Yep.
So we ended up selling the business last year
Oh,
and selling both of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so maybe open the door to something new, or better yet, take a break.
Taking a break. Well, I'm actually now because I helped my husband with his businesses, and so even though I've been doing this, my passion,
Yeah.
I was still because his business was bringing in the money. I was still working in his business in the back end, and now I don't have that on my plate anymore. So I am going full force on my company, my speaking, and everything, and I'm having a blast.
Oh, fantastic. Well, let's go into meetings. You said you ran a lot of meetings. You have some of the top techniques. I want to share that I was actually at Microsoft for 10 years, shipped 10 products, got 2 US patents when I was there. And it's funny, I tell people I held three different kind of jobs: software design engineer, test software design engineer, and a program manager. And as a program manager, my most valuable tool as a program manager was a whiteboard pen.
Oh, absolutely.
And one of the whiteboard, because what I would do is actually I'd show up before everyone got there. I would make sure and then write what I thought the purpose of this meeting was. And then I opened every single meeting was great. I'm glad we're all here. This is what I think we're meeting about. All right. Does everyone agree or does anyone disagree? All I can tell you is this is what I designed this meeting to be about. And sometimes it went on. We even took over 20 minutes to argue about, are we supposed to do this? Are we supposed to do something else? And it was so great because otherwise we would have wasted the whole meeting not doing stuff that a good portion of the people in the room wanted. And so I tell people that to this date that almost every meeting that I start with will talk about what's the goal and the purpose of the meeting before we start. And so I'm curious, what's one or two of your top tips for creating engaging and most likely, or more importantly, productive meetings for you?
So the most productive meetings that I would have is when I took into consideration everyone that was in the room. I knew my teams pretty intimately,
Yeah.
what their desires were. I always met with people one-on-one and talked with them.
Mm.
And I would know how to bring somebody in. Like I would know somebody's expertise. And even if they were an introvert, I would ask them a question that I knew they would have the answer to so that they can be involved in the meeting. If it was somebody that was more, tactile, I would actually have activities that we would do in the meetings to try and show things. There was always these leadership things that they would give you, like cards and just all these fun games that I would try and incorporate into a meeting to bring people back in, or
Yep.
especially if it was
Yep.
a longer meeting, I would have these little breaks in between But some of them would be for people who were more tactile. Some of them would be for people who were more, just doing small groups because, some people don't like talking in the big group, so they
Right.
want to talk in the smaller group. So it all depended upon what was going on and what I can actually, and I loved like making those puzzles and okay, how am I going to do it this time? Which games am I going to pull in? And that was always fun for me.
Do you have a favorite, like a go-to? I'm just curious because there's so many out there, but I'm just wondering if you have one that works, so you would rely on it.
Trying to remember, I can't remember any go-to. I wish I still had my wacky cards. I always liked using those, and I don't think I have them anymore. But they were all wacky.
So this is from my friend Sarah Vannell. These are forever recognize others' greatness, and so this is a card that says you are truly gracious and grateful. She designed 52 cards that were designed from 10,000 compliments. Boiled down to 52 recurring themes that happen from those 10,000 compliments to others. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. That is interesting because when I used when I used these things, they were called wacky cards, and but it would be in the middle. Pick a card and read the card and tell us how it applies to either you or your work.
Hmm.
And it was always something that was fun to do. It was especially if there was a lot of emotion getting involved in something or anything like that. It's like, okay, let's take a break. Let's do the wackies. you know?
Let's see. Did this one did like this? I don't think this is it.
No, that's not it.
Oh, okay, wrong one.
No.
But shout out to Chad Littlefield. Chad Littlefield also has a series of cards, and his are questions, right? Yeah. So this is one, and they're sometimes themed, like that's energy, and this is like
Okay.
the whole point is to get questions that are different than like what do you do, right? What does your perfect morning look like? Oh, this is a great question for you. What does all right Antoinette's perfect morning look like?
My perfect morning is actually getting up when everybody is still asleep, being able to do my own meditation, which I do every morning. And
Mm.
then I come out and I make a green shake every morning and a cup of tea. And so being able to do that, and then I absolutely love when my granddaughter wakes up and she comes running. No, 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 no. And I get a big hug from her. It is the most energizing thing of the whole day. That's my
Oh,
mornings.
how many grandkids do you have?
I have two grandkids. My 4-year-old granddaughter, she is autistic, and she's the main reason why we decided last year to move to help our daughter and son-in-law.
Oh,
And being a holistic health coach, I understand nutrition, and so I am responsible for all the meals that. And she actually likes my green shake, so that's pretty cool. I always save her a little bit, and
oh.
then we have a 2-year-old grandson. So yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
got the chance to meet Temple Grandin,
Oh,
and
okay.
so she keynoted at my friend's conference, and then I saw her. She keynoted another place and actually remembered me. But have you ever seen the Claire Danes movie of Temple?
No, I have not.
Oh, I got to tell you, just put it on your list right now, right? It is.
Okay.
Um, I just think it's a view of autism that hadn't been told, right? Very different from Rain Man, right? In that way, and Temple was very impressed with the movie herself of Claire Danes. Claire Danes' performance of her, and so. Anyways,
Wow.
it helped. It was something that was many have said is a great tool to help others who don't understand about autism to learn something about it, right?
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna definitely watch it with my daughter. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I worked with people with special needs in
Yes.
Parker, Colorado. There is a facility. It's called Affinity Ranch, and it is equine based. And
Yeah.
we work with special needs. I was on the board of directors. My horse is still there, actually.
Yeah.
This is one of the gifts that I gave when I moved here. Lily is her name, and she is one of their top horses. Everyone loves her. And when they heard I was moving, they were very upset that I was going to take Lily. I decided to leave her there. She was doing more good there than she could do here. unless I found a facility for her here. But she loves her work. They take
Yeah.
good care of her,
Yeah.
and it's just a very special place.
Well, this is my
So
equine therapy story, and I'm about to ask you, if you have like one of your favorite equine therapy stories. So once I got asked to do a team building event for all the administrators, the executive admins for Xbox at Microsoft, and they had been kind of fighting that they were all not getting along, right? And of course, it was 6 women. So they're bringing in a guide to design a women's retreat because that's something I want to ask you too. Either equine or your focus on women, but
yeah,
I did the thing that nobody would do in the design of it, which is asked the executive admins what did they want to do, right? Because almost all the time in executive admin, everyone tells you what to do, right? And so
right.
to reverse the energy and the dynamic, I sat down with them at Microsoft and we designed this whole retreat. And there was two things that were really important, right? One was massage, right? And
Oh, I love it.
the other one was equine therapy.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh
we
my God.
actually I have a Land Cruiser. We put a trailer so we could put all their luggage in it. I wanted to travel together in a car too, but because I wanted all of them to like have to be in one space to talk to each other while I could observe them. Even though I'm driving, I'm just like listening, right, to their conversation. But the equine therapy turned to be such an important part of the process for this, right? We didn't talk about any of the problems for like over a day, over a half a day or so, like 3/4 of a day. We traveled there. We half of the group went to massage, half went to equine therapy. They switched, and then we came back, and it was just really a powerful experience for them, especially those who had been on a horse, right? To be on a horse for the first time in this environment. And the secret that happened for it is late that night, as we finally got into the topics of this conflict or other stuff, almost all the women broke down and cried.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
by the
yeah.
next day, we came back and they had all made a new agreements with each other. And by they went back to work later that week, and almost every manager of the executive admins, emailed me and said, "John, thank you." And then they asked, "What did you do?" So
It's probably really the horses.
yeah, so talk to me about what led you to equine therapy, or what's the value that you see that maybe others don't know about.
The value there's a couple of things that the horses do. A young man that was at the facility, he was physically um, didn't walk well. I don't know the exact medical condition he had, but one of the things that horses do for people who have physical ailments is their walking ends up mimicking are walking, and it triggers the same cells, the same neurons in the brain as walking. And so people will actually walk better because of the horses.
Oh,
The big thing that so that's one that surprised me. The one I knew that horses do, and it is certain horses that they're like humans. Some horses like being healers, others don't. The horses that I've always worked with have been more of the healing type horses. They have an energy about them, and they can read your energy so good. They know whether they want to be around you or whether they don't want to be around you.
right.
Right. Well, all horses are really good at reading that. But some horses that don't like your energy, they're going to run the other way. Whereas other ones are just the big, those are the safer ones to be around. One of the greatest workshops that we did there at that facility was a heart math. I'm a certified heart math coach,
I
and
know heart math.
we.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Oh my
Yes.
gosh, we have so much in common. I didn't
Yes.
even know. Okay,
Yes.
so we did a heart math workshop there for the parents of these, or the the people, the caretakers, and that was the most amazing thing I have seen, because the coherence, people watched as horses came in before they were coherent, and the horses were staying at the opposite end of the arena. Thank you. And then the horses, as we taught them how to be more coherent, the horses would start coming towards the group and start like interacting with the group, and they were just shocked. And at one point we do this one technique, everybody's standing up and the horses are coming there, and people were just bawling, they were just crying. You could just see the
Mm.
release of the nervous system,
Mm.
and the it was just again goosebumps, because it was an amazing experience. That I did with two other heart math coaches because there was a pretty big group. I've done single ones with people with Lily, with just Lily and I, and one other person, maybe two other people at most, to be more personal and to get that same experience. Because what I've found is that when you have the experience with the horse,
Yeah.
you actually can for it because it's so huge in your mind, it's huge in your body. And if you could anchor that in, then the next time you start feeling pressure, remember that time, and it brings you right back into coherence again. And so that's why I love using horses, because they could just do that for you.
Oh, amazing. Amazing experience inside of that. Well, we talked a little bit about meetings too. I'm just curious. So, while you might be an analog person if you want to be with a horse, I'm sure being with them virtually is not quite the same. Although last week I was on virtual with a manatee.
I love it, a manatee. Oh
We,
my God. Well, you were in Amelia Island, right?
no,
So,
this was actually in Cleveland, and we were doing 6 virtual tours of other facilities, and one of them was an aquatic facility where they have this really cool advanced setup, which allows them to let the kids visit with a manatee
wow. Online?
online. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so
Oh,
maybe the possibility of doing equine therapy over virtual is possible. I don't know. Does it work?
oh
I
my
don't know. We should
gosh,
try.
I never even thought of that. That is an amazing idea. Boom. Yeah, that's an amazing
Right. Oh,
idea.
wait. I have one. Ready? Let's see. Ready? Oh, yeah. Ready?
Wow.
It's possible. But so what I would have loved to hear then, maybe then now that your mind's a little blown, right? What does the quantum blueprint person and the three brain lady say about the future of virtual and hybrid? What would you love to see in 10 or 20 years, especially for your kids or others?
10 or 20 years as far as virtual meetings, I would like to see people use some of the tools that we use in person, but figuring out how to do it online. And I mean, you just blew my mind with the doing equine therapy. I need to look into that, but that's there's so many opportunities that we have out there.
Yes.
I know how to do a lot of in-person ones, but bringing some of that stuff in, like bringing the wacky cards,
Yeah.
what I see facilitators or speakers doing today, and I'm guilty of this myself, is we follow a certain format. You get your hook, your story, and boom, 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 boom. Well,
Yeah.
how do we start really bringing in some of this stuff to get more engaged? And that's what I would like to see, because really people everyone is always showing up. They don't leave their nervous system at the door. It's coming in with them. And so how do we get them to align themselves? How do we get them, their attention is being pulled into, especially if they're virtual. Oh, I have to do the laundry, you have to cook, I have to do this. Their attention is going all over the place. How do we engage them so that they are present with us? And to do that, we actually need to align their nervous system. So figuring out how to align it online without doing this woo-woo stuff. I love woo-woo, don't get me wrong, but there's a place and a time for it, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, you'll love this. Last year was the first year we had Ariel Hazi is the founder of a company called NeuroSteer. And by wearing a small device, medical device, grade on your head, you can actually hook it up to his device and measure 153 different types of brain waves. And we put it on while people were presenting. And so, like, here's the greatest piece, right? We all know humor's like, good for the soul. But in this case, we were able to show somebody who was diagnosed ADHD. He was drifting, right? His brain pattern was showing he was like off in la la land, right? Somewhere else. And then the speaker told a joke and made everybody laugh. And his brain went from unfocused to completely alert and focused. But what's important is that it stayed there for a period of time after the joke.
wow.
So laughter
Okay.
actually has scientific value, right, in terms of engagement and attention. Oh, and
Mhm.
so that's the kind of research we're starting to do over here. And I just think that what you're saying is true. Like, can we do these things? And I think you have to experiment. Like what I told you earlier about being a facilitator, we have to make mistakes to figure out what's really working and what's actually just we thought worked but isn't working at all. Right?
That's really interesting because I wonder what like the heart math uh, sensor would
Yes.
tell us
All
about
right.
people. So it does tell you if they're coherent or not. And then I can actually experiment with that, but I need everyone to have a sensor. So
So one of my other good friends is the vice president on the board for the Buck Institute of Aging, and they are doing so much research by monitoring, right? So things like Aura rings, your Apple Watch, right? All the other pieces, plus some of the medical testing, and they're showing things like they can if you do it right, they're looking for ways to do things such as they were able to detect somebody's cancer at stage 0 because a marker for one of her medical things changed from her normal, but it wasn't big enough for a doctor to say, you're sick. But because they had multiple points of data from her, she had a significant change that allowed them to say, we need to look at this. And then they found out that she had a very, very early stage of stage 0 cancer. And of course, stage 0 is much easier to deal with than stage 4, right?
absolutely.
So these are things.
Biofeedback is really, yes.
These are
Yeah. So
places to look up and say that there are places out there doing this kind of research, and you could be too. I guess is really the point. So, all right, well,
I,
cool. Well, we've gotten to this amazing part of this interview called the speed round. So while we've been talking, I've been writing questions, and so your goal is to answer these questions as quickly as possible, and then I'll play some ridiculous sound like a Mario coin. Okay, is that okay with you, Antoinette?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay, favorite herb or homeopathic?
Echinacea.
Oh, easy one. Little thing you most appreciate about your daughter?
Oh my gosh, her extrovert, being just being out there and willing to meet people, and her speaking is off the charts. She just spoke at Toastmasters last night, and oh my gosh, it was
Oh,
amazing. Yeah.
there we go. I just produced the District 2 Toastmasters conference here in Seattle. Uh,
Ah,
okay.
okay.
Of the three brains, what is your favorite brain?
Oh gosh, that's a hard one, but I'd have to say the heart.
Okay, good one. Best daughter's birthday.
My best daughter.
No, your daughter, the best birthday you have ever thrown or whatever or experienced with your daughter.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So my daughter's birthdays, we always had huge birthdays with the horses, and we had jumpy things. And I mean, every kid at school always wanted to be invited to our kids' birthday parties.
Oh, well, there you go. There's the kids say they give you applause. Um,
Yeah.
Favorite beverage or cocktail?
It is bourbon. I don't drink a lot, but if I do have something, believe it or not, it's going to be a bourbon, a good one.
Oh, there you go. we just had Manhattans last night.
Oh,
Best
my
advice for
husband is the Manhattan King.
best advice for meeting planners.
Ooh, best advice for meeting planners. It's going to be to incorporate a lot of fun things along with the lectures, and just figure out some of this play stuff that we can do to keep people engaged.
What do you most respect about horses?
Their ability to bring others into coherence. It's amazing.
And what does quantum mean to you?
To me, quantum means that we need to, especially quantum biology, we need to understand that not only are we physical beings, we're energetic beings, and we need to align the quantum bodies, most of them energetic, one physical, align them so that we can reach source and bring the source of healing back to us. So that's why my business is called Soaring to Source, because I want people to align their quantum bodies to reach the source.
Ah.
Engage.
That was Star Trek. Okay, and the final question is, if you could get people to magically remember one thing from this interview, what would it be?
To magically remember that your presence at a meeting means more to you than you know. It's a ripple effect to everyone that's out there, whether it is on Zoom or in person.
Oh, you love one of my quotes is, "This meeting should be different because you're here."
I love that.
You're
I
welcome.
love that.
Welcome
Yeah.
to credit me with that. Uh, well,
I
good.
will do that.
Well, see, and then again, you hail from Georgia, right? Is that right?
That's where I currently live, is in St. Mary's, Georgia. So I'm on where the other submarine base is at.
Genius, right? So, and I'm there at least once a year for Georgia Healthcare's Association. So, let me know.
Oh,
I'll have to contact you the next time I am in Georgia. Their winter conference is coming up too. You should apply to speak. You should apply to speak.
oh,
So,
definitely.
Georgia
Definitely. That would
Georgia Healthcare Association. You would talk to almost all the long-term healthcare providers in Georgia in one shot. Well, 200 people. Yeah. So.
whoa. Okay. Association. Got it. Thank you.
You're
I will
welcome.
apply.
Well, Antoinette, thank you again for a little bit of your time, and thank you for sharing your wisdom and brilliance with us. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you online or in the real world sometime.
Sounds good. Thank you, John. This was amazing. One
All
of the
right,
best, actually. This was one of the best
oh, I think.
interviews I've ever been involved with. It was so much fun.
Oh, thank you so much, Antoinette. I appreciate that. We're gonna quote you on that now on the next podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Do it. Do it. You can if it's still recorded, do it.
Genius. Thank you, Antoinette. All right, let's see. We've been talking with Antoinette, and her last word was presence. Today, if you're listening to this podcast and you're going somewhere, think about your presence there. All right. Like my friend, are you tuning out, or my other friend, are you completely engaged? Are you there, and are you sharing your presence with everybody that might be around you? Speaking of sharing, make sure and subscribe, share, like, and comment if you're watching here on social media. If you want all the episodes, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online. With over 100 episodes ready to download and a new one every single Wednesday. And if you want to learn more engaging tips, techniques that we've been talking about, again, the latest in research, we actually have 2 units. We're going to use brain scanning. If you're an attendee, we might scan your brain for an entire day, or at least a portion of it, here on October 20th through 22nd at the Engaging Retreat, or you can scan a free ticket and attend virtually. And if you want to be like Antoinette, then you want to be here on this as the next guest. Go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, select interview, and you could be the next guest here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. I'll see you next time.
Don't we start people and keep old people? Show you got heart.